Hello and welcome to my channel where we discuss all things dinosaur as well as other prehistoric animals. Today we will be looking at Stegosaurs from PNSO. This is the March of the Stegosaurs edition, following behind the marches of the ornithopods, the ceratopsians, and of course the theropods, which kicked it all off. So basically what this is for is to summarize what PNSO Stegosaurs I have, as well as catch you all up in case PNSO comes out with some other Stegosaurs or creatures from the same time period or environment. You'll know what I already have when it's time to do comparisons. So Stegosaurs were primarily in the Jurassic period, and that's what we're going to kick all ours off with. They had Stegosaurs in North America. They made their way all over the world. They were also in China, and it's in China how we'll kick this off. What we have on our rotating platter is a Chungkingosaurus, which used to reside in China. It was also it lived in the late Jurassic, and it lived alongside such dinos as a Mamenchisaurus, long-necked sauropod, and what probably preyed upon it, a Tuojiangosaurus. So yeah, so this is part of a diorama with the aforementioned Tuojiangosaurus. Tuojiangosaurus is a theropod related closely to Allosaurus, and most likely preyed upon Chungkingosaurus. So what else can I tell you about Chungkingosaurus itself? It was estimated to be at least 16 feet long. They're thought to be longer than that, but that's a speculation. They know that they were at least 16 feet long. So as far as scalation goes, PNSO is based on, they always claim 1/35 scale. This model is 7 inches, about 7.1 inches, and if you do your calculations, that puts if you base it on at least 16 feet, that would put this out of scale. 7 inches would make this animal about 20 feet long. So it's either out of scale, or the theory that this was a larger animal would knock it close to the 1/35 scale. It's in scale. It's alongside the Tuojiangosaurus, which, if I recall, is in scale. So I'm assuming that PNSO erred on the side of it being a larger animal than the estimated 13 to 16 feet. But that's enough about that. Let's get him off the platter and take a closer look. Here's our Chungkingosaurus off of the rotating base, and as you can see, it's got a greenish hue to it. PNSO has layered the model with a green and tannish base, and it's got darker green stripes. Looking at it closer, try to get a look at that head. Definitely have to zoom in for Stegosaurus since they had such small skulls, but you can see the detail there. PNSO went with as far as the eyes, it's there appears to be some white back there, but it's a very large black pupil. Or actually, it's like there's some white, and then there's a lot of black, and then there's a white dot for the pupil with its eyes. And you can see the color right there, and you've got some color there under the throat. Pretty cool. So we're going to zoom out and take a look at the length and breadth of the animal. Getting a look at the color of the animal, you can see the the green and tan I was talking about, as well as the striping along that hind leg, that left hind leg, and there's some splotches of darker green up that way. You notice that Chungkingosaurus has 2 spikes coming out of its basically its upper torso, we'll call it, just above the shoulders of the forelimbs. And this was something that PNSO just took liberty with doing, because none of the specimens of Chungkingosaurus found had spikes, and they more or less based it off of another Chinese stegosaur whom we'll get to, because they made a model of that critter as well. So going down this leg, you can see that the leg is raised up off the ground. That's because it's not really raised up off the ground. It's basically before and I will take this off of the screen for a second so you can see. I stated earlier that Chungkingosaurus was part of a diorama along with Tuojiangosaurus, and they came with a base. So here's what you got here as we zoom out so you can see the whole thing. And you can see it was a very detailed, pretty nice base. Very detailed. It's basically resembling some wetlands. Looks like it's all muddy and marshy, and just pretty grimy where it happened. It's got footprints and a peg for the Tuojiangosaurus, and there are some smaller footprints over on this side for the Chungkingosaurus. So the Chungkingosaurus would have fit, if I can get him to stand, like that on the stand, and then of course the Tuojiangosaurus would have been, you put the foot in the peg there, the right foot, and he'd be bearing down on the stegosaur. So it's a very nice display when it's all set up. But taking the stand out of the way and getting back to our guy here, you can see the plates. Everything that demonstrates it is a stegosaur. You've got the plates on the back, 2 rows, as you can see, and then it ends in spikes, or their official term is thagomizers, at the end of the tail. Chungkingosaurus actually had 3 pair of thagomizers. So pretty cool there. You could see PNSO, attention to detail. You've got the osteoderms all along the body there. So you got some that's going down the tail. So it's pretty cool. You see that the head is kind of raised up because it was facing off against that Tuojiangosaurus. So yeah, let's take one final look, and that will do it for Chungkingosaurus. That leads to this fella right here, another Chinese stegosaur, the one that the Chungkingosaurus was based off of in terms of the shoulder spikes. This is a Tuojiangosaurus right here, also of China, and as you can see, just from the model alone, it was a larger stegosaur. It more resembled the Stegosaurus that we know of, with the exception of those shoulder spikes. But it had 4 thagomizers at the end of the tail, or spikes, the 2 rows of plates going along the back. This creature was also late Jurassic. It was about 23 feet long. This model is about 7.8 inches long, so it would calculate to just under 23 feet, so it's right in scale with the 1/35 scale. So let's get this off the platter and get a closer look. So we have our Tuojiangosaurus off of the platter and standing there static, we can see the coloration. This is also a greenish hue to it, a little bit duller than the Chungkingosaurus previously, but still. And as always, or as typical, I shouldn't say always, that's being unfair. Typical with PNSO, the paint jobs are really matted, you know, kind of drab, as I usually, that's the descriptive word I usually apply. But still looks good. They still give it some nice color, and it still looks realistic, which I really think that's what PNSO always endeavors to go for, what they strive for. So so we can see all those colors. We'll get a little bit closer up, but first we're going to look at the skull. As you can see, as with all Stegosaurs, the skulls are very small. We got small beady eyes. In terms of the eyes, it's kind of amber with black pupils. You can see the scales are very pronounced on this model, and it's hard to discern the mouth. It has its beak right there, and you can kind of sort of see the nasal passageways going down. It's got the wrinkles in the neck there. Its head is turned slightly, or more than slightly, to its left. So that's as always, I love that type of attention to detail when they make sure that they show the wrinkles and the stretching. So looking at the other side there, you can see more of that detail. You can see the scales along there. I shouldn't have done that. The scales along there, but you get what I mean. And yeah, so let's zoom out to look at the rest of the animal. So looking at the coloration, PNSO has done another excellent job, even though, like I said, it's kind of drab, but that's what they're known for. But they do try to make it as realistic as possible. Look at the paint work on the shoulder spikes. Coming out of the shoulders, they start off a dark brown, and then they taper off into a lighter brown, and then it gets like in a blood orange type of color. Then it gets tan, and then ends with a dark brown right there. Speaking of the brown, you see the osteoderms on the side there have been painted brown. You've got the scales that you can see right there, as well as on the underbelly there. The paint along the spines, pretty cool. Gotta love that. You can see how nice that work was done, and it just travels right along down to it ends just before there's a little gap there of no plates, and then you have the thagomizers, and you see how nicely they're painted too, similar to the shoulder spikes. Looking at the other side there, you can see that the tail is swinging to the left somewhat, and you've got a lot of scalation there. Of course, the osteoderms, once again, painted on this side of the animal too. You've got the right leg, right foreleg, you pushed off of that, stepping forward, and the toes accurate with the count 3 in the back, and more or less five in the front there. So pretty cool. Forgive the rocking. Trying to make sure I get the model in frame here. So yeah, that will stepping back some so you can get a couple angle shots. Yes, indeed. One more. Give you profile. And that will do it for Tuojiangosaurus. Next up is the Miragaia. This stegosaur, as you can see, very impressive spines or plates, as well as thagomizers. And the other thing it's the most noted for is it's got the longest neck of any stegosaur. Very unusually long neck, as you can see. PNSO actually went for a more colorful skin tone with this particular model. Pretty cool. Miragaia was found in Portugal, and possibly they think they found Miragaia in Wyoming here in the States, and it was estimated to be between 18 and 20 feet long. This model is about 8.6 inches long, which if you do your calculations would make it 25 feet. So this model is definitely out of scale for 1/35. It existed in the late Jurassic, like our previous two offerings, and as you can see, it's very impressive with those plates. Let's get a closer look, get them off the base. Looking at Miragaia up close and personal, you can see that PNSO went for a there's a pink surrounding the eye, and the entire eye is black. So that's pretty interesting right there. You can see all of the scalation there. You can also see the nostrils right there. Looks pretty nice. Trying to get a more profile look. Once again, it's kind of hard to discern the mouth, the beak, but it is there. You can see the line if you look closely. PNSO has really pronounced the scales, which they probably was going for, more scales like that. Probably helps to offer even more protection, considering that everything seems to be overemphasized on the Miragaia when you talk about the plates. And we'll get a look at that neck. You see how far down, and look how long that neck is. Like I said previously, it has the longest neck of all stegosaurs, and it's being replicated right here with PNSO's rendition of a Miragaia. You can see all of those scales along the bottom of the neck there, and it's got that nice paintwork, the striping right there, the orange style color for the plates. You see the plates get larger and larger as they go up. Very impressive. Look at them from the side there. They end kind of dark at the tops there, and you still see the striping going along with that like orange, kind of orangey tan, and it gets even more tan, and there's some brown in there. Pretty nice. You can see with the stripes go down the leg, but stops just before it gets to the we'll call it the elbow, and you see all of the scales, the stretching of the skin right there as this right hind limb is pushing off. You see the paint on the toes there, both front and back. Pretty cool. And it keeps going down. You see all of those plates goes all the way down, and then look at the size of those spikes, aka the thagomizers. Very, like I said, everything seems to be exaggerated. Turning to the other side there, everything seems to be exaggerated with the Miragaia. You got the spikes, or rather the scales, the striping, looking pretty good. You see more of the plates there as it goes down and ends. Once again, tapers into the thagomizers, which I tell you, boy, I know I would not want to be hit by that. That's for sure. So, starting back to the head again as we zoom out, getting some last looks from different angles of our Miragaia. turn it this way a little bit so you can see that. Then go to the other side here. You can catch that. And then of course we go full profile. And very impressive looking stegosaur. And here we have the big bad itself, the man, if you will, Stegosaurus itself. This is PNSO's second offering of a Stegosaurus. This time it is part of the museum line, and that's why we've got the baby Stegosaurus accompanying it. And they give us that in lieu of bases. They used to always give bases with their museum lines, and I guess this is a cost-cutting move, yet at the same time trying to justify the elevated costs of the museum line. Anyhow, enough about the economics. On to Stegosaurus itself. Stegosaurus was also found in Portugal, and as well as the western United States. It lived alongside just about anything you can name. It lived in the late Jurassic, so that means it lived alongside Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, and of course Allosaurus. The Allosaur Stegosaurus rivalry is as well known as the Triceratops and Tyrannosaurus Rex rivalry. You always see illustrations of the two of them confronting one another, and yeah, they even have skeletal displays of that confrontation in the Los Angeles Natural History Museum, and it's pretty impressive. Anyhow, let's get Stegosaurus and the youngling off of the base. Taking a look at the baby Stegosaurus first. It's been named Biber, or I believe this is actually Rook. Anyhow, you can see even in this small form, there's a lot of detail there. PNSO does have a mini dino line, so they're no strangers to giving detail to the miniature figures. So which essentially is what this is. So you can see it's got the different paint on the plates, on its little baby thagomizers there. You've got looking at the head as best we can. You could see it's got the black dot to signify the eyes. It's got green paint with some tan there along the belly, and the stripes, which start at the base of the neck and work its way down all the way to the end of the tail. You get the same thing on the other side. You even get detail in terms of stretching skin as it's pushing off with that left hind leg there. So and you see that the left forelimb is raised up, and well, actually they both are. You see that both forelimbs are raised up. It's like it's jumping up there. I guess it's trying to, they're trying to show it as being kind of playful. So that's our baby Stegosaurus. And now going full grown, you can see the coloration of those plates, which is the standout feature here. We talk about Stegosaurus as well, of course, as the tail spikes, the thagomizers, and this is definitely a better offering than their first attempt at a Stegosaurus. The first attempt, a lot of people weren't happy with it, especially with the colors. Of course, the colors on this one are more matted, as is the case mostly with PNSO, but still better color design and configuration. As far as the head, we'll get a closer look at that. Now, as you can see, the baby takes after its parent there with the full black eye, and you can see the beak there. The mouth is actually more visible with the Stegosaur than any of the other Stegosaurs that we've seen up to this point. And looking at the you can see it's got excess skin there along the throat, which is some great attention to detail. You can see the nostrils there, pretty cool. the coloration of kind of tan, orange kind of tan for the mouth part, whereas the rest of the skull is a little darker. You can actually see the ear. You see that right there, which is nice. And that would be the same on the other side there. Make sure we stay focused there. So yeah, pretty nice, nice head sculpt. It's great how PNSO can still manage to apply attention to detail even when you have heads this small. Looking at the rest of the Stegosaur, you'll see that it's also another kind of brownish green, and it's got the dark green stripes going along, starting at the base of the neck and working its way. The belly is same motif. Belly gets lighter. What's great here is you see a lot of wrinkles, a lot of attention to detail there. You've got some osteoderms along in there. That left leg is left foreleg, I should say, is raised up some, and you see the pulling of the skin there. And then you look at the hind leg. There's some stretching of the skin there. Some really good detail showing that. You've got accuracy with the toes. Now talk about those plates. There was controversy with Stegosaur plates for a while. The plates, as I'm showing you the plates, you see that they have them in rows. There was a time where they had them in a single row, but every other plate pointed out in one direction or the other. So, you know, the first plate would be left, the second right, etc., etc. But then they finally settled in on making 2 rows of plates. So, of course, as it gets further down, it becomes 1 row as the tail tapers. So as you can see, it becomes 1 row till you get all the way to the thagomizers there, 4 large spikes. That was also another area of controversy. They used to have the spikes be pointed up instead of splayed out. So they've all gotten that correct. I could tell you that the Stegosaurus skeleton in the American Museum of Natural History in New York still has the spikes pointing up. So they need to get on it, I would think. Going down so we can get some angle shots here. There's the Stegosaurus from that angle. We'll look at him from that angle, and then of course full profile. And so that concludes our look at the PNSO Stegosaurs. They've only got 4 out of all of the species and subspecies they have. We only have 4 Stegosaurs. There are a few more that they can come up with, but we've got these 4 for now, and I'm quite sure we'll end up with a few more Stegosaurs in the future. So from our left all the way around to our right, we have down below the Chungkingosaurus, the Miragaia. We've got the Stegosaurus and the Stegosaurus youngling, and we've got the Tuojiangosaurus closing us out there on the lower right. It's they're pretty nice. They relatively scale. The Chungkingosaurus is a bit out of scale. But it can be fudged because they're not really sure of how large it actually was. The Miragaia, however, is definitely out of scale. It's definitely larger. The model is larger than what the 1/35th scale would suggest it should be. But it's a beautiful figure. It's definitely the most colorful. I think it's the prettiest figure out of the bunch. The Stegosaurus, a definite improvement over the first iteration, and of course the Tuojiangosaurus is very impressive, especially with those shoulder spikes. Anyhow, that will do it for this overview, this catch-up video, if you will. March of the Stegosaurs. They have halted, and they probably need to eat some food and get a drink of water, which I know that's what I need to do. And also what I need is for you guys to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to get 200 subscribers by the end of July. Very hard pressed to do it, but I've got to have a goal. So that's the goal that I have put for myself, and I need you guys to help me. If you want to be notified of other videos I upload, hit the bell, and you will be so notified. So on behalf of the Stegosaurs and myself, Rockosaurus Rex, thank you and take care.